Peace, everybody. It's the Lord here, Cold World. I'm over here kicking it with my main man, J-WIGG. What's good, sir?
What's good, Brody?
Can't call it, man. Just want to welcome everybody back to another installment of Brodie Sports Talk. And before we get started, just want to thank everybody out there for their support. Because whether you know it or not, the Brodies are hot. We are now currently over 50,000 views and counting. So once again, want to say thank you to everybody out there that is tuning into the show. I mean, we got people, random people coming up to us now saying they done seen our show, man. It's pretty cool to see that we're part of the masses now, yo. We're getting a little bushy today. I'm celebrating with the wine for 54,000. Once we get to
Hey,
100,000, I might break out the 1942.
I was gonna say, I always got some brown. I got some Crown today, some Crown Royal.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
let's
So
do it, man.
it's definitely a celebration. Once again, we want to thank everybody out there for supporting us. If you're not following us, you need to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Brodie Sports Talk. And just click on the bottom right hand corner and subscribe and like and share with your friends. We definitely appreciate the love. Again, we're at 50,000 views and counting, ahead of schedule, actually. I'd say, let's do it big, man. What do you think? Should we do 75 for the next goal or jump to the 100K?
Let's go to 100K, man.
Go to
Listen, we're not
100K,
doing
okay.
no small stuff, man. Let's take big jumps, big risk.
Yeah, let's see how fast we can get to 100K. I mean, for those who don't know, we had a post on our TikTok platform that went viral, that had 26,000 views and actually still counting. So feel free to go through our archives, take a look at the subjects that we've been talking about, y'all, and give your feedback. We definitely love it. Again, Brodie Sports Talk at Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Go ahead and share and like with your friends. But to go ahead and get
Hey,
started
tell,
here.
tell them this, code. Turn on the YouTube while you're at work. Put it on in the background. Just how the Brody's talking. We're gonna give you so much knowledge, analysis. Just let it play in the background at work. That YouTube is where I think people are really gonna gain the knowledge. You can watch the shorts, but you gotta go to the YouTube. You gotta watch the
Yeah.
full episode, man.
Yeah, the full episode is on YouTube, Brody. So y'all gonna have to get all that content on that platform. But yeah, and like and comment, man, so we can give you guys some shout outs on the shows. But to go ahead and kickstart here for our opening take, as usual, like we talked about last week, Brody's, we talked about bringing y'all our top five power rankings. So that's what we're going to start off with here. Top five power rankings as follows here. So we're in agreement with the first three.
Oh,
So the first one Wiggs and I got is the Detroit Lions. I think we can both agree on that. I mean, they're arguably the best running tandem in the league with Gibbs and Montgomery. Their passing attack is pretty solid with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Williams and Laporta. And they're not talking about it, but Goff is playing he's playing some pretty good football. I mean, he had that 5 interception game, but overall he's been pretty solid. And they're beating good teams. They're not just beating teams that with bad records or anything like that. They're beating legit teams and they're stomping them out at that. So anything you want to add on that here for the Brodies out there, Wiggs?
hey, shout out to Detroit. I say it every week, man. Like it's just always crazy as somebody that grew up in Detroit. The same thing as a Commanders fans. When your team starts doing good, you kind of don't know how to feel. It's like, what do I do with my hands? What do I do? The Lions are the number one team in the league. It's so weird. And I guess this is what the Commanders fans. You don't know when you're getting too excited, but you just gotta ride the wave and enjoy it. So the Lions are number one. Like you said, Gibbs and Montgomery are looking like the best running back tandem in the league. Sonic and Knuckles. Amon-Ra St. Brown. He just has a great attitude. Shout out to Amon-Ra St. Brown, his brother. I'm not even gonna try to say his name. I think it's like a Quentin. I'm not gonna try again.
Yeah, something weird.
And their pops, man. Their pops. They do a podcast with the pops. They talk a lot about sports and just how they grew up. So yeah, just shout out to Detroit, man. I don't even have to get into the game. Just shout out Detroit.
Yeah, and I like they're taking on the aggressive role of their coach. He believes in them, and they believe. That's the biggest thing.
Did you see the fourth down play? Did you see the back and forth between Jared Goff and the coach
Or the
Dan?
OC? Oh no,
No,
I think
what's the
Goff
head
said he
coach's
said he
name?
wanted to go for it, and they were going
Yeah,
back
what's
and
the
forth
head
about
coach's
it.
name? Dan Johnson.
Oh my God, yeah, Ben Johnson, yeah, but the
Ben,
OC, yeah,
that's the OC. But so Jared Goff was talking to the head coach, and he was the head coach was like, "We're gonna kick the field goal right now," and Jared Goff was like, "Man, I really want to go for it." And you know the Lions
yeah,
go for it all the time, but it was only 40 seconds left, so he was like, "All right, you want to go for it? Let's do it." They went for it. It's the one where Jared Goff hands off the ball. David Montgomery gets the
yeah.
first down easily gets the first down, and yeah, the Lions going to win the game. And it's just like you said, the coach believes in them. To see the players say we want to go for it, and the coach says, "Let's do it." Man, you know the belief in that building is at an all-time high, and when you have belief, that's when special things happen. So
Yeah, yeah, and just to piggyback on that, like everybody's on the same page. It's so important, and with anything with coaching, like the coach has a vision. They have a philosophy that they want to implement with the team, a culture that they want to implement with the team, and then they need the team captains to relay that message to the troops. And everybody's running on all cylinders over there. I say that all the time, and it's only deserving that we rank them as our top seed right now, or the top team in the league. With the follow up, you know
oh,
what?
you were a coach of a championship team yourself. Did you ever have any players say like, "Coach, let's go for it," or like it's a champion playoff game, or even in the regular season? Did you ever have any players like, man, like and kind of inspire you during the game, like, "Yo, oh wow."
Shoot, we didn't give a damn because like we were like, look, no one can stop us. I was coaching a 90-pound team, and I had a 12-year-old on there, so he was a little, big, he made weight, but he was a little older, so he was a little bit more mature. So like a 12-year-old going up against a 9 or 10-year-old in some cases is like it's a mismatch. So that 2013 year that we won, I would tell him like, hey, look, man,
What position was he playing?
he was running back. I called him the
He was
train.
dogging.
And he was dogging Bama's, man. Like he only 90-pounder out there averaging like 100 yards a game. Like it was hilarious. But it's like when you believe that your players can do it and you implement that and they start to believe, it's like, hey, let's go for it. I mean, Lamar Jackson does the Coach Harbaugh. Jaden did it with what I forgot, Kingsbury. So, if they believe that they can do it, and the offensive coordinator and the coach is like, yeah, we believe they can do it. Hey, that just speaks volumes. But like sometimes it can come back to bite you. But I like how they're just like, hey, look, man, we ride or die together. I love that about Detroit right now.
Yeah,
I'm wishing them the best in the playoffs.
yeah.
But moving on, we got the second ranked team here, Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this is probably the ugliest 12-1 team that I've seen in a while. They're winning games like on doink field goal kicks, random ass blocked field goals, calls that aren't being called, the whole nine. Like it's a very messy, controversial season for the Chiefs. But at the end of the day, they're 12-1. They're beating good teams as well. They're the defending champions, and like we've been saying this entire season so far, Mahomes and company, they win when it matters. So they're getting some really,
Exactly.
really ugly wins, but I'll take an ugly win over a pretty loss. So that's what we got at number two.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that code, like you said, they're 12-1. And when I was trying to make up my power rankings, I wanted to put them lower, and I just kept looking at their record, and I said to myself, how could I rank them lower? They're 12-1. I saw a stat that said teams. It showed their record, and then it showed their record in games decided by less than a touchdown. The
Yeah,
Chiefs were 10-0. 10-0 in games decided by less than a touchdown because they have Patrick Mahomes. When I say don't bet against Mahomes, that stat is everything that I mean right there, because he can get a first down just like Jared Goff said he wanted to go for it. He
yeah,
said that because in the playoffs, if Mahomes is on the other side with 40 seconds to go, you can't give him the ball.
yeah,
So it doesn't matter what time of the game it is, the Chiefs, they can always make a play, and yeah, you can't bet against Mahomes right now. Like you said, it's the ugliest thing, but what I see is really good coaching. We said it
Yeah.
about Bill Belichick. Maybe we can talk about him later. There's some news with Bill Belichick going on right now. But with the Chiefs, what I see is a team that has an identity. I talk about it every week. You have to have an identity in the NFL, and the Chiefs have. Was that me or you?
It looks like that was you.
Oh shit! I never seen that before.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, damn. Because I know before you said my screen is messed up, but I never seen that one before. But
Yeah, it's choppy.
okay. You said
You
it's
know we gotta
choppy.
go through this every freaking time, Wiggs.
Yo, oh man, hold up. Oh man, we in the episode. I can't even. Is it bad or no?
It was like a quick pause. Yeah,
So so it's good right now though.
yeah, it's good right
Okay,
now.
okay. All right, I'll just keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
If it messes up again, let me know because you know we got a lot of rain in this area. We actually have a tornado here in Bowie.
It
So
was raining all day over here too. Yeah,
yeah, it was really bad today, and we need the rain. It hasn't rained like almost like a month or two, so
yeah.
we
It's been a
needed the
while.
rain. Yeah, it's
I
been a while.
like the live glitches. It shows the people the imperfections.
Exactly. This is
Makes it more
real.
realistic.
What do we say? This is live, folks. This is live TV.
This
We
is
can't make
live.
this shit.
This is live.
So hey, this is live. But yeah, the Chiefs, like I was saying, the games are messy on purpose, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like they know how to come out of the slop. You know, if you've ever been with like somebody in the country and you see them on the farm, I'm gonna go to my Shannon Sharp stuff. You know, some people know how to get messy. They can wrestle with pigs and do stuff like that.
yeah.
That's where I might be like, I'm a city boy. I like to say I'm a country boy, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna be out on the farm wrestling pigs. You know what I'm saying? But some people are comfortable doing that stuff. Some people
Well,
are comfortable
yeah.
playing in the cold. You look at the dog
Oh no.
weather. Oh man! All
Oh
right, hold
Wiggs.
up, man.
We might have to start over.
Hold up, man.
You might have to refresh your phone, or you might have too much going on.
I think I know what it is. It's this. Okay. All right. Now tell me how this one is, Co. I took my Wi-Fi off. Is it better?
Yeah, there's no choppiness. That's probably what it was.
Yeah. It's the like I said, it's the tornadoes in the area. We actually
Okay.
had a tornado touchdown in Bowie today.
Oh
So
damn! Why won't you getting flown out in the middle of a recording?
yeah, nah, for real, man. Like
Shit,
that's why I'm looking at it like, yo, I've never seen this happen before.
I get flued out.
Yeah. All right,
That's
I think
crazy.
we're good though. It shouldn't mess up anymore because, like I said, I just took the whole
Yeah,
Wi-Fi
it's
off.
good now. It's running good now.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, a complete agreement. Like one thing I'll say about the Chiefs, I feel like right now, I feel like they're bored. You know, I feel like they're just waiting for the playoffs to start, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're playing with their food. They're like, all right, let's keep the game interesting. Let's because we're getting bored. It is like that every year. And I don't think they're intentionally doing that, but sometimes I feel like I'm like I think they want a challenge. They're like no, because no one is really challenging them. So it's like, okay, let's just make it interesting. Keep them in the game, and then we'll find a way to win at the last minute because we're bored.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think the only team that challenged them, the only team that's beat them in the playoffs is Joe Burrow, I believe. I think Josh Allen might have beat them once, but neither of them have. No,
I
Josh
don't, I
Allen
don't
hasn't
know.
been
He
to the
might
Super
he
Bowl.
might be 0-3 against him.
Yeah, he might be. So I don't think. And if I'm Patrick Mahomes, the only person that beat me is Joe Burrow, and they're not making the playoffs this year.
Nope.
So he has nothing to fear. Nothing to fear at all. Everybody else is scared of Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. They don't want to see him. You saw what Lamar Jackson looked like last year.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen, like you said, probably I want to say he's either 1-2 or 0-3. either way, he's gonna be nervous when it's time to play them in the playoffs. And I was saying, so I think it is intentional. I think, like you said, I think they're waiting for the playoffs, but I think it's intentional. I think Andy Reid is like, I want to see what my team is made of. Let's get them in every possible situation. Let's let every game come down to the last play because I'll see what my team is made of. So when we get to the playoffs, oh, we've been doing this all year. That's why I think Andy Reid is like a mad scientist. Like the way he
Yeah.
coaches, because they're winning. Like, and I said it. Bill Belichick used to do it. They would just have the ugliest wins, but they were winning. And then the playoffs will come, and it's like, oh no, the Patriots aren't going to do it. How many times have we said that, Co? The Patriots aren't going to win this year. They could be going on a playoff run, and we're like, nah, they don't have enough. They don't have enough. The Patriots won
Next thing you
again.
know, the
Like,
Rams going on a freaking run. And what they've mastered the bye week. And when it comes to playoffs, because the Chiefs, since this whole era has begun, they've only been on the road and haven't had home field advantage 1 year out of this entire run. So Kansas City football in December and December, late January, February, it's not a pretty place to play in. So whoever they're playing, that's the home field advantage right there. It's already hard to play there as well, from the crowd just being so damn loud, and they have some help from whoever they are.
that was the other thing I was gonna say, Co, about the Chiefs. I think that's when it started cutting out. Some teams can play messy because I don't even know if did you hear my message about wrestling the pig?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I said some teams don't like playing in the cold, like my Dolphins. We saw the Dolphins in the cold. They're not a team to believe in. But the Chiefs are a team you can believe in. That's why we got them at number 2. Like I said, in the playoffs, they're number 1 for me. It's the regular season. I wish I would have put them down lower, but the regular season record is 12-1. They're number 2.
It is what it is. Moving on, we got a third ranked team that we both agreed on here, and that's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. It is tough as a DC fan to put them anywhere above us, but I'm a football fan first, so reality is they got a great defense. Their front seven and their back end is great. Pause. So like they have a championship defense so far. Them, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Chiefs are probably those three, maybe the Steelers too, but those defenses right there are championship caliber. And they got the best running back in football. They got one of the best wide receiver tandems in the league. And they have, I'd say, a top 10, top 15 quarterback and Jalen Hurts. I mean, their coaching is showing so far they're pretty good. I mean, they've won 9 in a row. So yeah, man.
Right.
I mean, they're definitely a team to reckon with, and they're the second best team in the NFC. So only rightfully so for them to be in the top rankings. I think they're 11-3.
I
I think they're 2 games ahead of us. We're 9-5, so I would assume they're 11-3.
No, I think we're 8-5.
I thought we were
So we
nine
had
and
about
five. We just beat the Titans.
okay.
I gotta look at that score. Let me look at the record again. But either way, I think the Eagles are one of the best teams in the league here. Definitely, no doubt about it. Let's see. Commanders.
But I was gonna say while you're looking that up,
8-5. You're right. 8-5. So
Okay.
I guess they're 10-3 then.
I think so.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I was gonna ask you a question. Is there trouble in paradise? Did you hear about the AJ Brown saying he was not happy?
Annual bitch session.
Very good, coach. Annual, and it happens every year.
Especially around this time.
And I do understand it. I just saw Micah Parsons on his podcast. Shout out to Micah. I just saw him say, and this is a really good stat, so I want to give him credit. AJ Brown only has 1 game with over double-digit targets. Is that a problem, Co?
No, they're a primary run team. Saquon Barkley is on pace for 2,000 yards. And then you have a quarterback that only has three passing routes in his repertoire: a go route, a slant, and a screen. Jalen Hurts cannot throw every route on the route tree. If those three types of passes aren't available for him, they're running the ball. And then just like clockwork, they run the ball, get all the way down to the 1 yard line, and then they tush push it in. He's got like 10 touchdowns off the tush push alone. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the formula. They run the ball, dink and dunk every now and then. They'll take a couple of shots. Their defense will get them the ball back, and because they run the ball so well, they'll stay on the field long enough. So there's not enough. There's not enough time to pass the ball to you because we're so busy controlling the clock via run game. But if you want to bitch and complain about not getting your targets, how about you make every target count? Because I've seen some drops, bro. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some drops. So I get it. Wide receivers, they've gotten a little spoiled in this pass happy era that we're in. And they're already entitled, because they think they're the best thing since sliced bread. And they think they're always open, they want the ball every single time. I get it. But, bruh, I can see if y'all were losing and you weren't getting the ball. You're winning and you're getting the ball. So all I know is when your number is called, make sure you're ready. Because if you talk all this trash and you complain, when your time comes and you don't show up, then they're gonna be like, well, brother, like you're not even worth the money we're paying because you're not even coming through on the times we are throwing you the ball. So why are you bitching and complaining? But so far so good. Their run game is stout, defense is great. Number 3 for me.
Yeah, no, that's man, cool. That's such good analysis because I tried to set you up with that question. Is there trouble in paradise? No, emphatic no. I'm with you. I'm so with you. This is a run team. AJ Brown, if you don't want the way this team believes in Saquon and what they're doing, and Jalen Hurts in the tush push, bro, you can leave right now. We really don't need you.
We
We got
got to
Devontae
retain
Smith who
Devontae
can
Smith.
we got Devontae Smith who can take it over the top, so we can still keep the safeties honest. We can make do with what we got for real. Saquon is that good. Jalen Hurts, like you said, he doesn't have the full passing attack like for a quarterback,
Yeah.
but he can make the plays when he needs to make the plays. And like you said, AJ, are you catching all your targets?
You're not.
Now, to me, AJ Brown is definitely a top 10 receiver. I'm gonna say top 5 most years. This year is a little bit of a down year. I think he had a little bit of an injury at the start of the year.
Yeah, he had a
Um,
hamstring injury that kept him out a few weeks.
yeah, but I still think AJ Brown is a top 10 receiver. And I like what the NFL did last year, letting the running backs go to different teams. Yo, let's let some of these receivers go to different teams. Who is it? Brandon Ayuk for the 49ers really wanted to go to the Commanders. The 49ers didn't let him go, and look at him. I mean, not to say, he would have got injured, but he's not helping you out right now. Let him go. When players are disgruntled, let them go. Stop trying to hold on this. It's not good for the team. Let
Yeah.
disgruntled players go. AJ Brown, this will be the last year for you. If I was the Eagles, this will be your last year, bro. Because you don't understand. If you're not understanding, we're good with you here. The reason Saquon can do what he's doing is because we have you and Devontae Smith. So the safeties have to stay back. And as soon as they come up in the box, that's when we'll go to you. Because that's when the game plan will call for it. But if the game
Exactly.
plan is not calling for it, we're gonna keep running the damn ball. I've been told you that, Cole. I like Nick Sirianni. I know a lot of people don't like him. I like him because he's sticking to his bread and butter.
Yeah.
If it works, I'm gonna keep doing. I love coaches like that. If it
Yeah.
works, keep doing it. Eagles at 3. I want to put them higher, but I think, like you said, I need to see a little bit more from the pass. I'm gonna agree with AJ Brown. I do need to see a little bit more in the passing game. As long as he's not a diva about it, I'm cool.
I mean, him, Chase, neighbors, they all made their voices heard these past couple of weeks about not getting the ball enough. I get it. Your wide receivers and Chase's defense. I
Scary
think he's
Terry.
still on his. The what?
Scary Terry too.
Well, Terry hasn't been vocal
He
about.
didn't vocalize it, but he needed
Yeah.
the carries. I mean, he needed the touches.
Yeah, he needed the touches, but when they asked him about it, he's like, "Yo, I got a rookie quarterback that's still learning. We're still trying to mesh. I'm remaining patient. Me acting like a BAN, and ain't gonna help his growth. You know what I'm saying? Like for the black community, you know what that acronym stands
Hey, I
for.
know what that means. Hey.
I'm not gonna interpret it for the sponsors, whoever they are. But yeah, you acting like a BAN about it. That's one thing, but yeah, again, if you want to be more incorporated in the offense, be patient, and when your number is called, make sure you execute. Because if you don't, then it's just going to be like, well, you causing issues in the media that we got to address for no reason. And also, my dude, your contract's already locked up, so it's not like you're playing in the contract year for money. Chase is. So if he's complaining about not getting the ball, I can understand it, but he's Jamar Chase. He's going to get paid either way. But again, if you're not getting the ball, be patient. Are you winning? If you're not getting the ball and you're losing, yeah, then you can say all you want. But my dude, you've won 9 games in a row. So like just relax, man. Like no one wants to hear all that bitching and complaining. Just
9 games in a row, Philadelphia record.
yeah.
Like, what are we?
Like
What are we
I don't
talking
want to
about?
hear it. I don't want
Yeah,
to hear it, man. But
yeah.
hopefully that will erode the team from within. So by the time they play us, we can snatch that division. But here's where things kind of split hairs here with me and Wiggs Brodies. At number 4, I got the Minnesota Vikings. And my main man Wiggs got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now I think that's a great pick. The Steelers are doing really well right now. They're at the head of their division. But I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings only because I think on paper their defense is the best defense in the league. And your boy Sam Darnold, man, he's starting to make me into a little bit of a believer. I'm not buying enough stock in the Vikings right now to say that they're going to be a contender in the in the NFC Championship or anything like that. But right now, bro, like if the Lions weren't playing the way they're playing right now, the Vikings would be the best team, arguably, in the league right now. I mean, they've only lost what 2 games too. They're 11-2, something like that. They're 1 game
Yeah, and I
behind
think
the Lions. Yeah. So
yeah, I think. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just that's what I was just saying. Like their defense is just that good, and their offense when they play mistake free football, they're kind of hard to beat. They got Justin Jefferson, Addison is starting to emerge. They got Hawkinson, they got Aaron Jones, who's having a semi renaissance, and like I said, Sam Darnold is the comeback player of the year. Yeah, so that's my pick there, and you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tell them why.
Listen, you about to convince me, cuz. Oh man, cuz I'm about to start talking about the Vikings. I love the Vikings. You're so right. I don't know that I would put them at 4 because I do like my choices. And I'm kind of again I'm thinking about playoffs. I'm thinking about the quarterbacks of the teams. And I like Russell. I'll tell you why I picked number 4. I like Russell Wilson. I trust Russell a little bit more in this offense than I do Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
But you make a great point. Sam Darnold is looking really good. And the Vikings, what I was going to cut in and say, the Vikings have a team. That was, I think, the thing let me focus on that word. The Lions have a good team. I think you said that. The Lions probably have the best team. The Vikings have a great team. The offense, you kind of listed the players. And let's go to the defense. Harrison Smith, and that as a safety, and that's another white safety. We got the Eagles. We got the Eagles white boys doing work out there.
A little culture shift going on with some of these
Listen,
positions.
Harrison Smith has been doing his thing for a long time out in Minnesota, and he has that secondary on point. Outside of the oh no, that wasn't oh my god, did you see the play Justin Jefferson made on that DB in the last game?
Put that dude in the spin cycle,
bro. Put in the film room. They're gonna destroy him in the film room because, bro, what in the hell are you doing,
over here,
bro?
Down his leg.
I'm telling you, I don't know what that was, but Justin Jefferson is like, that's the most open I've been all season, and he's right. He's been getting double teamed, and again, and when they asked Justin Jefferson about the offense, I don't know if you heard what he said. He was like, "We're winning. If I only get 4 targets and we're winning, I'm happy. AJ Brown, take notes, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Justin Jefferson got the highest paid contract. That's why. Jamar Chase, take notes. You didn't get your contract this year.
There's a
Learn
reason
how to
why.
act in the media. Exactly. It's little things like that. Learn how to talk in the media. Learn how to carry yourself in the organization. It goes a long way when it's time to sign that contract.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
so I do like the Vikings, but like I said, the Steelers for me is Russell Wilson. They have a complete team as well. It's not just Russell Wilson. He's got George Pickens on the outside. He's got Najee Harris. Um, they have a second running back. I told you how much I like teams with two running back. Jalen
Yeah.
Warren has been
Yeah, he's
coming in
actually
and getting
he's underrated. Yeah. He's very
exactly.
underrated.
And you know my coach of the year, Mike Tomlin. Like I said, he's coach of the year, coach of the decade for me. So I trust Mike Tomlin a little bit more than I trust the Vikings coach. And I trust Russell Wilson a little bit more than I trust Sam Darnold. But I like that pick, Co.
Yeah, I mean, like the Steelers, one thing I'll give the Steelers over the Vikings in this particular case is they're an outdoor team. You know, the Vikings are a dome team. So if the Vikings don't win the number one seed, they're going to be on the road. So I don't know how they're going to fare in cold weather where where the Steelers. I mean, you know what Bane say in Batman? He was made by it, molded by it.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
good.
So like cold weather doesn't affect them. And to your point, Russell Wilson, not only does he give them the championship experience, he played in Seattle where it was cold. So the cold weather's not going to affect them. So yeah, I like that pick as well. I don't think you can go wrong with them. But to round out the five here, we got another disagreement here. For five, I'm going with the Green Bay Packers over the Baltimore Ravens for Wiggs. Now, here's why. Your boy Josh Jacobs, man. I really like what they're doing out there. They finally figured out their identity and they're on a rhythm. Your boy Jordan Love, he's finally healthy. They finally figured out who's going to be their top wide receiver. At first, they were kind of doing like a committee because everybody was getting hurt. But I think they finally got their who their number one receiver is going to be. I think what's his name? Not Dobbs, the other guy. Not Dobbs, not Watson. It's the other guy. I think it's Reed.
Reed, Jaden Reed.
Yeah, these past few games they've kind of developed something, but overall they still got a great coach in Matt LaFleur. Their defense is pretty solid, and you know, like I said, like Jordan Love may be young as far as game experience, but people forget he's been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years, and he's learned a lot. And he's just continuing that trend of Green Bay Packers right now that sit for 3 years behind a Hall of Fame quarterback, and then they hit the ground running and become a Hall of Fame quarterback themselves. Not saying Jordan Love will, but I mean it's trending that way so far. They're 2 for 2, you know. So I like Green Bay. They're in the toughest division in football right now, and they're holding their own. So they got a really big win last week, and yeah, I think they really are showing the world right now. Like, look, man, don't sleep on Green Bay. Like when healthy, we're one of the best teams, and Josh Jacobs is top three right now in running backs. And you'll see in our last take, but the running backs, you know, they're doing their thing this year, and it looks like they're riding my man's coattails.
Man, you're making too many good convincing points, Co. So I have Josh Jacobs in fantasy, and I have the Packers defense in fantasy. I don't know that I would have known how good the Packers defense was this year if I didn't have them in fantasy because they've been cooking all
Yeah.
year long. I just kind of been looking at my defense like, yo, damn, thank you for those points. And then watching the game, they know how to stop the run, and they have a really good secondary. The Packers do. So I really like that pick. And like you said, I think they have more of an identity now. When I watch them, I think Matt LaFleur is a little bit in the coaching mentality of, I said it last week, pass first, run second. If you watch that game last week, they started the game trying to pass and then running a little bit. They ended the game running and then
Mm-hmm.
passing a little bit. That's a transition. They weren't doing that. The Buffalo Bills did that last year as well. They kind of started off, when they had not this season, but last season, the Buffalo Bills when they had Stephon Diggs and Gabe Watson, they were passing the ball and then they would run the ball. And now they're kind of switching the opposite and doing the same thing. But the Packers, what I saw in that second half, I was very impressed with the Packers. So I like that pick at 5. I think here I really wanted to go with the Vikings at 5.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't trust them over the Steelers, and I don't trust them over the Ravens. Now the Ravens have the worst record in my top 5, and I keep trying to like not put them in my top 5, but they're too good. They're too good. I trust Lamar Jackson, even like because this is the thing about Lamar. He does have a couple decision making, questionable decisions that he makes during the game, but he's still one of the best quarterbacks. When you watch him play, he controls the game. He controls so much of the game. The game is going to come down to him. It's kind of like the game is going to come down to Mahomes with the Chiefs. And with Lamar, it's the same thing, except Lamar is not always making the best decision. But I think he will eventually. And then they still have King Henry. I think their biggest flaw is their defense. But I'm thinking that John Harbaugh will coach them up and just maybe get things turned around as the season goes along. Because they have good pieces, so they've just got to kind of get it together. But this one I could be swayed on. Like this one, I think the Vikings. I could see the Vikings at 5, since I didn't have them on my list just because of the records. But I don't think the Vikings or the Packers beat the Ravens in the playoffs. So that's why I got the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's saving the Ravens' ass right now is the fact that they have 2 players that are arguably top 5, top 10 players in the league, in Henry and Jackson. So that's the only thing that's kind of saving them. The only issue I'm starting to have with the Ravens now is that Harbaugh and company refuses to stick to the script. We've been talking about this for a month straight now. And that, you got King Henry. Run the damn ball, give him 20 plus touches a game, you end up winning. Period. I don't understand where the issue it keeps coming from. I don't think it's an ego situation. I don't think Lamar is saying, hey, I want to do this, do that, and the third. I really think the coaches are outsmarted themselves by trying to be cute and trying to prove to the world, saying, hey, world, I know you guys are saying Lamar Jackson can't pass through the pocket. We're going to drop him back 35 times to show you. No, bruh. No. Like, I'd rather you shut them up by winning, with the staff that they say you can't win with. You can't win with a dual threat quarterback or a running quarterback. Prove them wrong. That's my only issue. And they got a pretty tough schedule for these last 4. They got a couple more division games. So we'll see how that works, because at this pace, they'll be lucky to be 6th or 7th seed in the playoffs. And if they do that, they're probably going to end up playing someone that could bounce them in the first freaking round if they don't stop playing. But I still think they're one of the best teams in the league. But I just think after these past few performances and that loss to the Eagles, it's kind of hard for me to put them in the top 5 here for me. But Brodies, let us know what you think. Who do you think your top 5 power teams are in the league? Let us know on all of our platforms on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Again, we are over 50,000 views and counting. So again, thank you for the love and support. On YouTube, click on the bottom right-hand corner to like and subscribe on all of our platforms. Tell a friend, tell a family member, the whole 9. But moving right along, we got our next segment here, which is starting to become a little bit of a fan favorite here from a view standpoint, and that is our recap and review the games of the week. So we gotta put it out there for those who don't know. We've been keeping our records, and
that record out there, put the record.
But Wiggs went undefeated again with his picks, so now he's up 2 games. So I'm at 14-10, which is not a bad record, but it's still far behind Wiggs at 16-8. So I finished 3-1 last week, very solid, but he went 4-0. So let's go ahead and give the fans the results here. So we were both correct with the Packers and Lions. We were both correct with the Vikings and the Falcons. So we chose the Lions over the Packers, and we chose the Vikings over the Falcons. We split with the Seahawks and Cardinals. the what's his name, my buddy. You remember that little stuffed doll, my buddy, Kyler
Hey,
Murray.
I heard of my buddy. I think,
Yeah,
man, either
yeah,
my buddy or Teddy
my
Ruxpin.
buddy dog, Kyler Murray didn't come through,
Mhm.
so they lost 30-18. So we split that, and the Seahawks are in. They're in command of that division over there in the NFC North. And then we finished with Chargers and Chiefs, another close game, 19-7 Chiefs, but we were both right on that. Yeah, I mean, to start off with the Packers and Lions, I mean, it was a division game. I mean, one of the best games that on Thursday Night Football that I've seen in a while, and that's kind of why I put the Packers in my top five, because they went toe to toe with them and they could have won. But the biggest thing for that game in particular was that controversial fourth down call. Obviously, um, some people were saying, "Hey, why don't you just go ahead and kick the field goal now?" I get what he was doing. He wanted it to be a walk off, kick, because at that point the Packers were doing pretty well. So I don't think he believed in his defense that much. He was like, "Look, we may not be able to stop them in overtime, or even if they have enough time, on the clock, they may march all the way down the field." So yeah, it was a very risky call, because if they wouldn't have made it, they would have been calling him a bonehead. But I mean, hey, like we've been saying, like he believes in his team, they believe in themselves, and they got the best running back tandem in the league right now. So I like how they're rolling the dice on that. So great game.
Yeah, and if you're gonna believe in your team, what I like to see you do is go to the best player. They went to one of the best running backs in the league, and Montgomery on that last fourth down. Um, Gibbs was in our parlay locks for 75 yards. He got 73. Montgomery
Collusion.
got over 75 this game. We needed Montgomery to get, I think, 40 rushing yards last week. He didn't get it. I mean,
It's
it's tough.
collusion. It's
It's
collusion.
a collusion going on.
Yeah.
But in this game specifically, I think you make a great point. Jordan Love looked great the whole game, and he's a gunslinger. Like he's got
Yeah,
a
he
little
is.
Brett Favre in him. He's gonna throw it. So with 40 seconds left, like I said, that's not the type of time I want to give a quarterback like Jordan Love. Oh, he can't wait to try to, because you have nothing to lose when you're playing a team like the Lions and the Chiefs. That's what makes it so tough when you're a top team.
Hmm.
Everybody, we get up for those games. All right, yeah, let's see if we can beat them. Let's see if they are really that good. Let's see how good they really are. The Packers, they saw the Lions are legit. Um, so yeah, no, that was a really good game. Like I said, the Lions have an identity. The Packers, it looks like they found their identity in that
Hmm.
game. I hope they continue to do what they're doing with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs runs. I saw him do a couple runs, and he says he does this where he's like, they kind of try to punch at the ball.
Hmm.
He kind of does a stiff arm that's like a punch. Josh
Okay.
Jacobs there. He's like, and he said that like he talks shit while he's running too. So
Yeah.
like I love Josh Jacobs, his attitude as
Yeah.
far as running the ball. You gotta be like a mean dude when you're running. And a dude that's out here punching, that's like some shit Beast Mode would do. Like I
Like,
just
right.
love to hear something
I
like
like the
that.
style. He's a
Yeah.
downhill runner, but he's still got the agility to shake you in the open field. And like I said earlier, they found their identity. They're like, look, we're a run team. Period. Until we feel comfortable enough for Jordan Love to drop back 30, 40 times. Maybe they'll do that after Josh Jacob leave in a couple of years. But yeah, great game. One of the best games they had last week. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a rematch in the playoffs of some sort. Because if the Packers finish with the sixth seed, they'll probably set up, if they go all the way through and the Lions go all the way through, it might be an NFC Championship matchup. So we'll
Hmm.
see how that goes. For the Falcons and Vikings, I mean, I think this was the game that showed the world that the Vikings made the better decision by letting Kirk go and not re-signing him, because Kirk threw up another dud. He just continues to prove you right. It's unfair, but he just continues to you just continue to be proven right. The Vikings, like I said, they got the best defense arguably in the league. Sam Darnold he's basically just showing the world what Kirk should have been doing or was doing because they had some good seasons over there, but I think Kirk is being shown that he's a system quarterback. And yeah, he's a top 15, arguably, middle of the pack type of quarterback, game manager or whatever, but he's a system quarterback, clearly, because if you look at his time in Washington with Sean McVay, well, even with Kyle Shanahan, Jay Gruden, and then Sean McVay, and then Kevin O'Connell, who was on that staff, you know, you see how well he was doing, and then he gets into a completely new system that may not favor him, and you just see that he's not performing well. And then his replacement is literally in the same offense, and he's performing at a high level. So Kirk's getting exposed. Unfortunately, they got their ass whooped 42-21. Um, the NFC South is a cut bowl division, so they're still in the race despite their record. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was. I expected more because Kirk has weapons, and yeah, he just completely shit the bed. I mean, he he just didn't show up. It is what it is.
So let me, I'm Kirk's biggest hater. So I love. It's not that I love seeing Kirk lose. I actually thought they were going to make the playoffs this year. So like you said, they do still have a chance because of the NFC South. Baker hasn't run away with it or anything yet because of their injuries. And the Falcons do have a good team. But I'm wondering if the Falcons um, players on the outside, like their receivers and running back, well, I like Bijan Robinson. I know
Yeah,
he's good. I'm wondering if the receivers and the tight ends, I guess. Is Kyle Pitts not good? Like, what's going on with Kyle Pitts?
B word.
Drake London is not getting the catches that he was getting earlier in the season, and I know Drake London's good because I got him on my fantasy. I see the stats. I watch him play. He's a big body receiver. He can catch in the end zone. I'm not quite sure if it's just Kirk being injured, so I'm really not sure what's going on because they didn't look this bad at the beginning of the year. Or
Yeah,
it could just be the Vikings. They ran into a really good defense.
they ran into a good team, but like we've been saying with the other teams, they don't have an identity. They don't know if they want to be a run team. They don't want to. They don't know if
Mhm.
they want to put the ball in Kirk's hands 2/3 of the game. They don't know what they want to do. And
That's a
this
great point.
also goes back to what we were saying about coaching in last week's episode, how important that is. Raheem Morris, you can say whatever you want about him as a person. I'm sure he's a great person. I'm sure he's a great coach, but you have to be built to be a head coach. Some coordinators just aren't good head coaches. And maybe that's the case right there with Raheem Morris. He's had several chances to be a head coach. He hasn't performed. It's not a race thing, it's a performance thing. But when he's a defensive coordinator or a defensive backs coach, he's elite. Maybe that's just his lane because you have Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. I mean, he's not a household name, but he's a solid back. You got Drake London. You got uh
Darnell
Darnell
Mooney.
Pitts. I mean, I don't get it. And yes, Kirk Cousins is still on his year at post an Achilles injury. That makes a lot. That makes a huge difference from someone who's not as mobile already, that relies on a clean pocket to perform. And their offensive line isn't that good either. So instead of taking Michael Penix Jr., they should have took an offensive lineman, to help Kirk out. You just paid the man $100 million fresh off an Achilles injury. I don't get what's going on out there, and I think there's just not a lot of elite decision making out there, and it's starting to rear its ugly head. Otherwise, they would be a lot better off right now than they are. But sorry, division, they're still in the midst of things. But as far as the next game, let's see. Let me hit the good old refresh button there. That thing was
Seahawks
acting
and
up.
Cardinals, I think, is the
Seahawks
next
and
one.
Cardinals, yeah. Kyler Murray, man. I, again,
The
you
little
have
engine that could.
the little engine that could over here. Like the dude he's literally like 5'2", 5'3". Like
Hey,
he's a
every time they
small
lose, he's
dude.
gonna get shorter. Next week, he's gonna be 4'11". I'm
He's
telling
a
you.
small dude, man. So it's like if you're going to have this dude pass 30 plus times a game, you have to be more creative and get him in open space where the nigga can see. Excuse me. Like, that's the truth. See.
It's the truth though, because you can see
He
when,
can't see.
yeah, the plays
So
that he makes, he's out of the pocket, throwing on the run.
yeah, so and then I mean I love James Conner. I think he's one of the most underrated backs in the league. And it just seems like they don't incorporate him enough. And when they try to incorporate him more, it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Harrison Jr., I feel so sorry for him because I don't think he's going to have much success out there as long as Kyler Murray is the quarterback. Because until they figure out how they're going to use him in the passing game, he's just going to be out there, withering away. Because I'm looking at the tape, this dude is wide open and on a lot of plays, and it's not that Kyler doesn't see him; he can't see him.
Yeah, he cannot see him. He can't.
He
Yeah,
can't.
no, you're absolutely right, Co. And that was the reason that I chose the Seahawks. I think when I was thinking about the game last week, it was, do I trust Geno Smith or do I trust Kyler Murray? Because both of
Yeah,
these teams have good. Both of these teams have good teams. But I think the Seahawks have a better team. I think they have a better defense. Um, I mean, Geno Smith did his thing. Zach Charbonnet filled in for Kenneth Walker. And I saw what Zach Charbonnet did earlier in the year, and he did the same thing in this game. He had some really good catches, some really good runs. And then again, this is what the Seahawks have. They may not always get the stats between DK, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Tyler Lockett. They may not always get the stats, but just having those guys out there makes the defense play you differently. So it's
yeah.
gonna open up the running game. It's gonna open up the passing game. It's gonna you can't double team DK because now Jackson Smith is gonna go off. You double team him, now Tyler Lockett's gonna get his. And I
Hmm.
love, like you said, let the defense tell you what to do on offense. You guys want to stack the box? All right, we'll go over the top. You
Yep.
want to play cover 3 deep zone? All right, we're gonna run the ball. So
Or
and
go over
they
the middle.
or
Go
go
across
over
the
the middle.
middle.
Exactly, with the quick slants or the comeback routes. Come on, Cole. We know how to beat these. We know how to beat these defenses. So
We played enough Madden to know, man.
I played enough Madden now.
We played
So
enough Madden to know.
I'm
And
telling
and
you.
and the
Go ahead.
Seahawks, the one thing I love about them that a lot of people aren't talking about. It's something that you mentioned last week when we were talking about the HCIC is the coaching. Like it still all falls down to coaching. And he's got a bunch of no name, how or no house name players playing at an all high level. Like they're uh Charbonnet, the backup
Mm-hmm.
running back, plug and play. Had a great game
Mm-hmm.
last week. And then when Walker comes back, they hit the ground running. And DK Metcalf, I mean, the problem with some of these wide receivers, you got elite wide receivers with game manager quarterbacks. That's what you
Mm-hmm.
have. Like in
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia, don't nobody wants to say it, but Jalen Hurts right now he's a game manager. But he's got elite wide receivers. So there's a conflict of interest, but you got pass heavy teams like like KC, for example.
No
They drop back,
receivers.
30, 35 times a game because they got Patrick Mahomes. He can do shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But these other cats like Geno Smith, if Geno Smith drops back 40, 45 times, you're going to lose.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah,
Yep.
so they know their identity. They stick to the script. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's not rocket science. You play
Mm-hmm.
with your strengths and you play away from your weaknesses. If you know you suck at pass protection over 5 seconds, don't call 7-step dropbacks.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So I think it's just that simple. And like you said about the Cardinals, the reason I don't another reason I don't like the Cardinals because you said it, James Conner. James Conner is one of the best running backs in the league. Same thing with the Falcons. Bijan Robinson, one of the best running backs in the league. These guys should be on par. I'm not gonna say James Conner. I think Bijan is really good. James Conner is really good too. I think
yeah,
they could be getting 100 yards a game easy.
easy. or at least 100
easily.
yards from scrimmage.
Exactly. So I think that's my problem with the Cardinals, and maybe teams are stacking the box with Kyler because they know he can't see over the line. So Kyler's gonna need 5 seconds to get out the pocket and make a throw, and teams are like, "Oh yeah, nah, we got you. Like this is too easy." So
If they
yeah, I
ran
don't
the
think.
ball more, it would free up the play action, a lot more bootleg.
Yeah,
RPOs, all that stuff frees up when you run the ball more. And
yeah,
I think our last take is definitely going to speak a lot to some of these teams who are struggling because of their lack of understanding when it comes to that. But to wrap up the recap, we got the Chargers at the Chiefs. Now, the last time they played each other, they won. I think they
it was
won.
16-10.
Yeah, 16-10. This one's 19-17. This is just showing that the Chiefs right now are keeping that championship window open because of their defense. They tried the Patriots route, which is let's lock in our franchise quarterback and have him go above and beyond. We're not going to supply him with any weapons besides one, maybe two, ironically, a tight end, right? And, have a little bit of a stout run defense, and we're just going to win a bunch of ugly ass games and rely on our defense because, I mean, if they're holding people to 10, 17 points, I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes, a few field goals here and a touchdown here. There's your 20 points right there. If you hold them to under 17 and under, you're going to win games by 2.5 points or more on average. So
Yeah,
they're not blowing anybody out. They're not blowing anybody out. It's just that these other teams can't score, and
yeah,
defense
they're
travels as well because they beat them 16-6 at home in LA. So
yeah.
yeah, and then
One of
plus it
the
was cold.
Yeah, one of the things I was you called that last week. You said the Chiefs are and the Chargers are a California team going to Kansas City. That was a good point, Co. One of the things I've noticed about the Chiefs defense watching these games, they have some really good linebackers that kind of came out of nowhere. I know they have Bolton that's been there, but they have two other guys that just run around the field and make plays. I saw one of the guys kind of stop the run on one play and he just came in there and kind of busted the old lineman as he was trying to pull. And it's like, yo, a linebacker is not supposed to be doing that. And then they have another linebacker, kind of linebacker safety. Again, these are kind of no names on the back end of the Chiefs defense because they let L'Jarius Sneed go, and they have Chris Johnson at the front end. But these guys are running around, making a lot of plays. They've been good all season long. The Chiefs defense has been good all season long. You get me to the fourth quarter, we'll let Mahomes do the rest. They did it again. They won on a doink field goal. The referees are still helping them out.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
gonna lie about that. The referees are definitely still
Blatant
helping
hold
them out.
calls. I mean, these dudes was tackling them during that
Yeah,
those that last series. I was like, yep, great
yeah,
no call there. Anything for the home
yeah,
team.
yep. So so yeah. I mean, as long as the referees are on their side, they got the 12th man. They got the Chiefs are gonna be good, man. So, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, hey, look. I mean, when you're winning and when you're the face of the NFL franchise, you get a couple of perks. I mean, that's just the way the life goes. It's funny
that's
how
very
when you
true.
become rich, that's when people start giving you stuff. You're like,
Isn't that crazy
that's
how that
crazy.
works,
Like when you're
man?
broke, they ask you to pay for shit. But as soon as you become rich, they're like, oh, it's on the house.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got the money to pay for it, and you don't want me to. All right. That's just the perks when it comes with winning. But week 15, first round of the fantasy playoffs, might I add. But we got some great games
Go.
coming up in week 15. And Brody's, you need to be following us again at Brody Sports Talk on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Please click on the bottom right hand corner on YouTube and like and subscribe. And obviously, we love the like and shares and the support here. But as far as the review here goes, we got some pretty interesting matchups. So for Thursday night, we got Rams at Niners. Uh, I like the way the Rams are playing right now. The Niners are beat up. They got some issues going on over there with injuries and Christian McCaffrey, the heart of their offense. He's gone for the year. It's a running back committee. Even the dude the third or fourth string dude that was their running back last week. Now he's
Got
hurt.
hurt. Oh man, he
You
he
know
came
it.
in and did well too.
Yeah, so I hate to say it, it's just football justice, I guess. The window's closed because of these injuries and the holdouts and all this stuff. The energy just wasn't good for the
Hmm.
Niners going into this year. So give me the Rams. I'm not going to say in blowout fashion, but I like the Rams to win by at least a 2-score game. So maybe 10 points or something like that. I like the Rams over the Niners. What do you think?
Wow. Hey, this will be a chance for you to catch up, Co, because I'll take the 49ers in this one.
Okay.
I think the 49ers, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Kyle Shanahan. I have a friend that's a big 49ers fan, so he'll send me videos about the 49ers. And then, I'll kind of look in the comments and see what people are saying. People aren't happy with Kyle Shanahan's play calling. They think George Kittle should be getting like 2 touchdowns a game, even more targets. He is very good. They have the talent. Like you said, the running back going down, I think maybe not maybe. We know how dynamic Christian McCaffrey is.
Yeah.
And I think it can't be overstated how important he is to this offense. But I do think the 49ers are a plug and play. You saw what they did with Jordan Mason. You saw what Isaac Garendo was doing. I think they're going to have another running back come in next week and get another 75 yards and a touchdown.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's 15 points in fantasy. And I think Kyle Shanahan is a good coach. I said it about Nick Sirianni. Kyle Shanahan, to me, has a really good run game. He runs first and passes second. But I do think he's losing his identity without Christian McCaffrey. I think that's
Yeah.
the problem with the 49ers. He's
Because he was so
losing his
dynamic,
identity.
he could do much more stuff, versus the other backs. But the Rams, they're coming off a great win over the Bills. They put up 40 points. Cooper Cup, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, the big three. With Matt Stafford, who just doesn't show any signs of slowing down as long as the man is healthy. The originator of the sidearm throw. I love me some Matt Stafford, man. That's a cold white boy right there. I ain't gonna front.
Yeah, no,
But
he's really good. And you know what else I'm thinking? The Rams are not in St. Louis anymore, so they don't have to travel that far for this game.
no, they're in LA.
Yeah, so the game is in LA.
No,
It's
it's
in San
at
Francisco, I
San
think.
Fran, but I'm saying that they're
But
both.
yeah, it's not that
Yeah,
far. Right,
LA
right,
ain't
right.
too far from San
Yeah,
Fran.
they're not the St. Louis Rams anymore. So yeah, thinking about it, that'll be an easy travel day. This is a divisional game, I believe. Um,
Rams are more healthier.
mm, yeah, I'm gonna still go 49ers. That way we can see with this record.
All right,
We'll see. We'll see.
all right. So we got Rams for myself. Wiggs is taking the Niners. First off the bye week, we got the Washington Commanders. They're at Saints. This is a return for Lattimore. This is also a little bit of a return for JD5 since he played for LSU. So
And
so
and
he's
your
he's
boy Chase
and
for the
oh yeah,
Saints.
Chase is with the Saints. So yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, ain't nobody think about them, But yeah, I guess you could say that. But uh, I like the way the Commanders are looking right now on paper. Unbiased opinion, even though I'm a fan. On paper, the Commanders are the better team. Derek Carr may not play. He's out with another injury. I think it was his wrist and a concussion. So I think he's going to be out. I don't know who they got at the backup. They're probably going to lean on Kamara a lot, but eventually we're just going to stack the box and force that guy to beat us with his arm pause, and it will go from there. But I like the Commanders. I like them to win in a convincing fashion, like 35 to like 21 or something like that. Who do you got?
Yep. I think I said it last week when the Lions are playing the Packers. I'll think about this one a little bit. I've thought about it enough. The Commanders are going to win this game. Like I said not last week, but the week before, they had a bye last week. The
Yeah,
Commanders beat bad teams now. I don't
exactly.
have I don't have a doubt in my mind they're going to win this game because Derek Carr is out of the game, and I don't think their backups are good enough. Their backups aren't better than Jaden Daniels.
No, no.
And and
And we're
they
fresh off a bye.
were fresh off a bye. The Saints defense is not stopping anybody crazily. So yeah, I expect a lot in this game. 35-21, I like that. I'm gonna go 30-17 in this game.
Yeah, and from now on, it's a must game. It's a must win for the Skins because the Rams are on their ass, and you
The
also got to
Packers,
remember there's a couple of other Cardinals.
the Packers
The
are in the same division as the Lions and the Vikings.
Yeah,
The
but like
Vikings are not gonna win the division, so they're gonna be a 10-2 wild card team. That's
yeah,
crazy.
so like you got to understand, there's going to be three teams out of the NFC North. Okay, so that's then you got
The
the
four
division
division
winner.
winners,
So
two
that's
teams
four
out of
teams
two
right
other
there.
teams,
Yeah,
and
so
then another one
there's
will be
only
the
like maybe three
Commanders.
or four. You said what? I'm sorry.
It's only seven in each conference. So you
Yeah,
got the
so
four divisional champs, the other two in the NFC. That's six. Add the Commanders. That's your seven right there. So
exactly. We're holding the 7 seed down, and you got your four division winners, and then you got three wild cards. So three teams, two teams out of the AFC North already got two of those wild cards. So it's either we continue to win, and even if the Rams continue to win, we still got our division record is going to be the tiebreaker. We have a better division record than the Rams right now, so that will be the tiebreaker if we end up finishing with the same record. But I mean, if the Rams don't win the division, they're going to need us to lose for them to get that 7 seed. And right now, we're 2 games up on everybody that's still in the hunt. So we have to continue to win, and hopefully, if we get the 6 seed, we can avoid playing Detroit in the next round. If you ask me, I want the Eagles in the next round because it's hard to beat a team 3 times. They may sweep us, but it's hard to beat them 3 times. So, yeah, man, I like the Commanders over the Titans. I'm sorry, the
Saints.
Saints. And then for the next game, we got another great game, man. The Bills at Lions.
Who you got? All right, let me start this one off. Since this is a
Mm,
Detroit game, Bills Lions. We talked about how good the Lions team is, and I think for me that's going to be the deciding factor. Um, because both of these teams get into shootouts. The
yeah.
Bills defense is okay, but they get into shootouts. The Lions defense is okay, but they get into shootouts. This is going to be a shootout. This is going to be a high scoring game. The Lions just won 34-31, so I'm not going to go that, but I think it's going to be very close to that. I'm going to go 38-35 Lions to win this game.
Oh man, it's a tough. This is a tough one because both coaches. Well, I'll give the Lions the nod for coaching. Quarterback, I'll give the Bills for coaching. I'll give the Bills for quarterback. I'll give them the nod. Wide receivers or receiver core. Uh, I guess I'll give them the Lions. Running backs, I'm giving the Lions. So defense, I'm giving the Lions. So yeah, I'm going to take the Lions over the Bills on this one as well. They're at home as well. Um, yeah, it's this I might be wrong on this one, but I'm going to go over the Lions as well.
You don't want a chance to improve on the scorecard. You want to make sure you choose the right team, huh?
I,
I think
I would
Detroit
I
is the
would
right
give the
team. So.
I would give the Bills the nod if they were at home
Okay,
because the Dolphins are
or
the
Detroit.
Lions they're a dome team.
That's true.
So yeah, they're playing at home. I'll give them the slight nod. Plus, the Lions head coach he's a little bit of a risk taker, so I'm sure if it got to the point where he needed to go for fourth down again to solidify a game, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't do it. So I like the Lions over the Bills. Looks like we're still on the same page so far, 3 for 3. Then the last one we got the Steelers at Eagles. Now, fun fact here for those out there in the Brodie world. The Steelers have not beat the Eagles since 1965, for those who don't know their football
What?
history. And also, Russell Wilson, to Wigg's point earlier, is undefeated against the Eagles. So we got two history facts that are going to be colliding against each other. We got a unstoppable force meeting an immovable object here. So got some conflict of interest. Both teams are coming off wins. Both teams are in our power rankings respectively. Uh, man, Russell Wilson's cooking, baby. He's cooking. He's cooking. Uh, but Saquon Barkley's having an MVP season. So here's going to be the deciding factors right here, baby. It's going to fall down to coaching. It's going to fall down to coaching. Who's going to make the smarter coaching decisions with time management, uh, substitutions, adjustments at halftime, the whole nine. And we've been saying it for a couple of weeks now. The Brodies think that Mike Tomlin is head coach of the year, the coach of the year. So I'm going to take the Steelers on the road. They're going to break that long curse of not beating the Eagles since 1965. Russell Wilson's going to continue his undefeated streak against the Eagles. Give me the Steelers over the Eagles.
I like that analysis, Co. And what I'm gonna do, I'll make this quick because I kind of like when we go separate ways. And I said it. I say it a lot of times when we have these matchups like this. These are pick'ems to me. In the
Yeah.
NFL, when you have two really really good teams, most of the time it's going to come down to which quarterback gets the ball last.
Yeah.
Um, I like both of these quarterbacks. I think Russell Wilson he's like a slight edge above game manager. Like when I
Yeah.
think of his career, he's a game manager, but he's like
He's a
he's
facilitator.
okay, yeah, like he's something a little bit above it. Facilitator is a great adjective for Russell Wilson, and
He
he can
makes
get
the throws when it
he
counts.
makes the throws, he makes the deep throw, and he can hand the ball off. Like if he has to just manage the game, he's fine doing it. You know he's gonna bring the right attitude. It's the same thing I said about Saquon. You know Saquon's gonna bring the right attitude. You
Mm-hmm.
also know Russell's gonna bring the right attitude. Um, so if you're going Steelers, I love your analysis about Mike Tomlin, man. That's the only thing that's making me kind of want to go against myself. However, I think the Steelers, the last time they played a really good team was the Ravens. They did win that game, but I think I saw a little bit of chink in the armor.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles. I think you mentioned the Steelers record, haven't won since 1965. You mentioned Russell Wilson. He's 6-0 versus the Eagles. The Eagles are on a 9-win streak, which is the longest win streak in franchise history. So if they win, they'll be 10-0. I think the Eagles are going to go 10-0. So I'm
Mm.
going to go with the
Go with the Eagles. Okay. I mean, not a bad pick. They're one of the best teams in the league for a reason. So there you have it, Brodies. That's our review for next week. We're both taking. So we're going to split the Rams and Niners game. Wiggs is going to be taking the Niners. I'm taking the Rams. We both agree with the Commanders over the Saints, and we're going to both agree with the Bills and Lions. We're taking the Lions. And then we're going to split the game with the Steelers and the Eagles. I'm taking the Steelers. Wiggs is taking the Eagles. That is going to be your recap and review for the week, the games of the week. And again, if you're not following us here, you need to follow us on at Brodie Sports Talk on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Again, we're over 50,000 views and counting. So definitely appreciate the love and support. But without further ado, we got our favorite segment of the show, and that is our Wig Parlay Locks of the Week. And as usual, full disclosure, the Brodies are going to be using our own funds to place these parlay bets. And if you would like to create your own parlay, feel free to use our picks. We are still hitting at over a 60 to 70% clip. So you can use our picks to build your own individual parlay. Or if you want to go out on a limb like we are, you can use all of our parlay picks and build your own parlay. And as usual, another disclaimer, we're not going to discuss who we're using as our platform until they cut the check. And if Brodies, if you win on your parlay picks, please let us know. And drinks will be on you if you would like to meet up. Now, to kick it off here, we got our first leg here. Who you got, Wicks?
And who you meeting up with, cuz, for
Huh?
drinks? I said, who
Whoever
you meeting
wins.
up with for drinks?
Whoever wins, if you
Okay,
want to meet
whoever
up,
wins.
drinks are on you.
Okay. All
You
right.
know, you won money off of our picks. The least you could do is buy us a beer
Okay, I like that. I like that.
or an
All right, let's
Amazon
get
gift card or something.
something, man. But let's get started with these parlay locks. Like you said, this is a fan favorite. This is one of my favorite things to do. Uh, I just enjoy like seeing if I can guess the pattern. You know, I love doing that type of nerdy stuff. So let's get started. Number one in the parlay Wiggs parlay lock for the week, Jaden Daniels. This is one of the best bets I've seen all season long. Jaden and Lamar, whoever is making these bets, for whatever reason, I think they still see running quarterbacks. Jaden is not a running quarterback. Jaden is a quarterback that can run.
Mm-hmm.
175 yards versus this Saints defense that's missing Marshawn Lattimore, the best cornerback they had. To me, this is an easy bet. Again, they're coming off a bye week, so they probably have a at least a 15 play script, if not 20 play script coming off the bye week. So I think they're going to get off to an early start. The only thing that could mess this up potentially is if they just get to too much of a head start, the run game goes too well, and they just sit Jaden. That's the only reason I can see this lock not
Yeah,
hitting.
yeah. I mean,
175 for minus 310. What do you think?
it's definitely a lot. I mean, Jaden averages about 200 yards a game, and like you said, they're down their best cornerback, so their secondary is going to be exposed. Scary Terry's pissed because knowing people still aren't giving him his flowers despite him being third in receiving. They still think he's not like AJ Brown or any of the elites. So I think they're just going to go out there and just continue to make a statement because these from here on out, like I said, are must-win games if they want to keep that seventh seed. They can't afford to lose too many games. 10, 11 wins should get us in, but we don't want to chance it. Win the rest of these things so you don't have anything to chance. Jaden Daniels, 175 at minus 310. Go ahead and lock him in. Who you got for the second leg?
All right, for the second leg, we're going to go to receiver. We're going to go to Carolina with Adam Thielen for 40 receiving yards at minus 225. Bryce Young is having a little bit of resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a B word? I don't know. I
We'll
don't
see.
know.
Well,
Yeah,
up until this point he was, but I think him saying the red rifle and how sorry he was, he's like, wait a minute, I think I can do this because they're calling this guy better than me. Yeah, all right.
hey, nah, that's a good point, and I think that was a really good coaching move. So let me talk a little bit about Carolina, just a little bit, because their coach people wanted to fire the coach. I think this is only his first year. If people wanted to fire the coach already, because I mean, he didn't play his player. He didn't play Bryce Young in the preseason, and it's like that's when he needs to warm up. What the hell are you doing,
Right,
coach? So
right.
I think what you're noticing is Bryce had his preseason, and then he said, you know what, Bryce, let's go ahead and have a seat. We'll work behind the scenes. We'll let the red rifle come out. And I think what happened is they must have done some really good work behind the scenes because Bryce has come out and he looks like he knows what he's doing,
Mm-hmm.
which he looked like that at Alabama when he played. So I think that has to go to coaching. In my opinion, it's either play calling is better, but when you watch them play, it's coaching because Bryce Young is getting the ball out of his hands faster, and Adam Thielen is his number one target. Adam Thielen leads the team in receptions. So 40 receiving yards for minus 225. That's a lot, folks. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I definitely think that's a lot. Let's see. They are playing
The
the
Panthers are
Cowboys.
playing the Cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys aren't anything to write home about. So they
And they just
they
lost their
gave up.
best pass rusher. The Cowboys
Yeah,
did.
yeah, and they shit the bed on Monday night. I mean, Carolina's not going to win the game, but I mean, 40 yards should definitely be doable, even in garbage time.
Yo,
Uh,
Carolina might win this game.
they could. I mean,
Who did Carolina just play last week? They just took somebody
they played the
far,
Eagles pretty well.
and they
So
played the Chiefs. Yeah, they played the Eagles and the Chiefs pretty well. So the Cowboys, this ain't no easy win for the Cowboys,
yeah,
especially
and
off that bad loss they had last week. They might be demoralized after that loss last week.
Yeah, you saw Parsons walking off the field early, like he was the Pistons of old, Isaiah Thomas Pistons when they lost to Jordan. How they just walked off the court before the end of the game. Like
Hmm.
that's a whole nother topic. That's some BAN stuff. But who you got here for the third leg?
All right, for the third leg, we're gonna go with Chase Brown. What's that? Oh yeah, Chase Brown for 75 rushing and receiving yards at minus 390. Um, the Bengals just have a really good offense. They're setting records. Joe Burrow is number one in passing yards. Jamar Chase is number one in receiving yards, and that just opens things up for Chase Brown. He takes advantage of it every week. I think he's going to do it again. Um, and he's clearly the leading running back now. I don't even think it's a
Zach
two
Moss.
running back system. So 75 rushing and receiving, and they are going against the Bengals. Who are they
The
playing
Titans.
this week? You said what?
They're going against the Titans.
Well, oh man, I don't know why I don't have that one written down. But yeah, no, the Titans have a decent defense, but they don't have enough players. We got to watch them closely versus the Commanders. They have a really good defensive tackle, but outside of that, their defense isn't doing too much. So I
Yep.
think 75 should be pretty easy. What do you think, Kyle?
I think out of all of the legs so far, this might be the riskiest one, only because the passing yards they're both going to go to Chase and Higgins, but I don't see any reason why they'll run a couple of screens here and there. He'll run for a few bulk yards. I mean, he'll probably get more rushing yards than passing yards. Um, but I like the pick. I think it's very, very doable against a defense that wears down as time progresses because of all the turnovers that the Titans make. And it just sucks all the wind out of the room. So yeah, I like that. That's a good lock. What do you got for the fourth leg?
For the fourth leg, we're going to go back to New Orleans with Brian Robinson for 50 yards rushing at minus 360. We were just saying it about Chase Brown. He's going to be able to run over that offense, and I think Brian Robinson is going to do the same. I think I was going to say this at the end of the last one. I think the Bengals are going to be beating the Titans, so they're going to run a little bit more. I think
Mm-hmm.
the Commanders are going to be in the same situation. They're going to be beating
Mm-hmm.
the Saints early, so they're probably going to run the ball a little bit more. And then this should be an easy. It seems like Brian Robinson can get 50 rushing yards in the first half. Like
Easy.
that's how he runs the ball so hard. Pause. I just feel like he could get 50. So 50 for minus 360 in the whole game. To me, that's the easy lock. Cole, what do you think?
I agree. I agree. The Saints' run defense isn't nothing really to write home about either. So and it's going to be loud there. So the best way to shut them up is to just continue to run the ball, get first downs, keep the offense off the field. I mean, I love Alvin Kamara, but he's literally their only weapon that they have on that end. But he's a workhorse. It's like this dude found the fountain of youth. It's like he's getting better as the years progress. It's amazing just to see how youthful he's staying. But yeah, B Rob is the heart and soul of that offense. Whenever he's healthy, the Washington offense is arguably one of the best offenses in the league. And like I said, it's a must win. First off a bye week. I don't even see a reason why that shouldn't be an easy lock there for you out there, Brodies. Who you got for the fifth?
All right, for the fifth leg, we are gonna come back here to the Maryland area with Lamar Jackson for 175 at minus 320. I couldn't pass this one up. We usually go
Yeah.
to like a receiver or a running back on this one, but this bet was just too good. Lamar Jackson for 175, and I know he's averaging over 200 yards a game.
Against the
Um,
Giants at that, that's kind of insulting. It's kind of like a no-brainer. Might be a
yeah,
glitch in the matrix over here with this one, Wicks.
yeah, no, I really said between this one and Jaden Daniels, I almost feel like it might if these two don't hit, Vegas has something to do with it. It's got to
Yeah,
be some collusion because
clearly.
it's got to be some. Maybe they're expecting if Derrick Henry goes off for over 150 yards, Lamar Jackson should still get 175. So I really don't see how he doesn't get this one. I think it's an easy lock. What do you think, Cub?
Yeah, definitely an easy lock there. I mean, Lamar Jackson. I mean, I don't think there's been a season, a game so far this season that he's thrown for under 200 yards. So it's kind of like a gimme there. And like I said, they're playing a very very bad team in New York. I mean, they're tanking they're taking for Sador. So yeah, that's definitely going to be an easy lock there. Brodies, let us know what you think with the parlay locks here. Let us know which picks are hitting for you. And again, like and share and let us know how these parlay locks are doing there for you. But that's our batch for the week. I think this may be the week wigs where we go 5 for 5 finally. We'll definitely see how things turn out.
Let's do it, Brodies.
All right, so moving right along here, we got the next segment. My favorite segment is the Stardom Stidham. Now it is playoff time out there, Brody. So all your fantasy playoffs, for the most part, have started, or at least going to start this week. And yeah, it's important that you guys have the right players out there. So to go ahead and get started with the Stardom Stidham, for me. I got Jaden Daniels. For Wiggs, he's taking Tua Tagovailoa. Both great matchups. I mean, he's on our parlay lock, so it's only right that I put him in the starting lineup. But the Dolphins got a pretty tough matchup with the Texans. But it's a dome team. They're in Texas. It's a warm state. It could be a shootout. I like Tua as well.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, we have Jaden Daniels in the parlay lock, so we like him. And I feel like Tua, like I said last week, I felt like Tyreek Hill was telling he had to be behind the scenes telling the Dolphins like, yo, this kind of unacceptable. Like, I'm too good, I'm too fast. Give me the damn ball. And I think I think Tua does a good job of getting his receivers the ball. I think Jalen Waddle had a decent game. Chain did well, and then you have Tyreek Hill. Like, if you can't play well with Tyreek Hill, it's a problem. So as long as Tua is not hurt, I think he's good. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So I like Tua to start.
Yeah, and if Achan is running, that's even more of a plus. Waddle, Johnu Smith, I like the pick, and it definitely looks like a favorable matchup as well for them. Because like I said, they're inside and they normally play well in warm games. But for the Stidham here, despite me picking them over the Eagles, I'm actually going to elect to sit Mr. Unlimited Russell Wilson. And looks like you are rolling with Geno Smith. And the reason why I'm rolling with hitting Russell Wilson is because he's going up against a pretty good defense in the Eagles. I still got the Eagles losing to the Steelers, but it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be like 17-10 or something like that. I don't think Russell Wilson is going to have a lot of passing yards. I think he's going to, like last week, have a lot more TDs. Like he might throw 2 touchdown passes, but he might have like 150 yards or something like that because he just keeps either getting sacked or they just get a bunch of 3-and-outs. So I like the Steelers to win, but I don't think they're going to have a shootout like they did against the Cincinnati Bengals. So I'm sitting Russell Wilson this week. Looks like you're sitting Geno Smith. Tell the Brodies why.
Another note too, George Pickens is going to be out this game, so
That's another one. Yeah.
that's
Wide
another
receivers
reason
out
to
as
sit.
well. So yeah.
Yep, that's another reason to sit Russell Wilson this week. Geno Smith, for me, he hasn't shown me enough in the last couple of weeks. I think he had a couple big games early in the season, and he was kind of starting to talk. I think it was a contract year for Geno too.
Yeah.
So he needs to prove it, and I haven't seen him prove it. And until he does, I'm gonna be sitting him. Like you said, it's playoffs. Geno Smith, you're not starting on my playoff team at this point in the season. You got to prove it. And if you haven't proven it up until this point, you cannot start him on your team. You got to start proving players right now. Luckily for us, Co, we'll get into it when we get to the fantasy. We don't have to worry about that. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But right now, yeah, if they haven't been proving it, don't start them. And if they're going against a tough defense or a really good matchup, I would say don't start them. So I like your sit 'em too with Russell Wilson.
Cool. Moving around with the running backs. For me, I'm starting Alvin Kamara because he's going up against a poor run defense in the Skins. It looks like you got Isaiah Pacheco for your choice. I mean, Alvin Kamara is the only guy they got left. They lost Taysom Hill. I don't. They lost. What was their wide receiver? Rashid Shaheed. They lost him. Derek Carr's hurt, so they're. I mean, look for Alvin Kamara to get at least 20 touches. So, yeah, I think that's a lot for the stardom. Same thing with Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, the Chiefs' passing offense is still struggling. Has been struggling for arguably 3 years straight. And Pacheco's back. Looks like he's healed. It's wintertime. People don't want to see a hard runner in the cold. So I think that's pretty intimidating for him. So I agree with that stardom as well.
Is it a hard runner, cup?
Yeah, he's a hard runner. He's a runner. He's a track star.
Pacheco. Yeah, I like Pacheco because I was surprised that he got the brunt of the carries last week. Um, who was the guy he just
Oh, Kareem
replaced?
Hunt.
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
I don't think I didn't see Kareem Hunt get injured this week, but he still got some carries. It just was like it was less than 5 carries, and that was just really surprising to me. But I think what the Chiefs are saying is Pacheco's our starter.
Yep.
We're gonna we like the way he runs. We like the way the offense looks around him. They still won the game, so I think Pacheco's gonna hopefully get more carries in the next game. The Chiefs are playing the Browns, so again, my theory is when you have a team that's much better, they're probably going to start running the ball late to just wear down the clock. Like I said, the Chiefs have been making their games ugly all year, so they're just going to keep this one ugly, keep it on the ground. Pacheco should be the beneficiary in this situation.
I agree. Moving along with the sit-em, now that Nick Chubb's back, I'm sitting Jerome Ford. And Chuba Hubbard's got a pretty tough matchup this week as well, so it looks like you're rolling with him. I mean, Jerome Ford, while Chubb was injured, he just didn't solidify himself as a reliable back. I thought that he was going to be able to do so, uh, even when he was playing with Deshaun Watson. And then as soon as famous Jameis got in, he just started, getting pass happy. So they only use Ford, I guess, like those third down situations. They still trying to keep Chubb on a pitch count, which I get, but they're becoming more pass happy as they go further on into the year, and any running attempts is just going to continue to go to Chubb. So doesn't look like Jerome is going to get many touches moving forward. So go ahead and sit him if you got him. And Chuba Hubbard, even though he's one of the best backs in the league, he's got a pretty tough matchup. So I don't expect him to get too many yards as well.
Yeah, I definitely like your pick with Jerome Ford. He wouldn't even be he might well my team he wouldn't even make my team. I'm gonna just be real with you. He's not even making my team. Go ahead, go sit on the bench, sir. We'll see you next season. You can try again. And then Chuba, I like Chuba. I think the offense with Bryce playing a little bit better is just getting away from the run a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're being successful in it. So that's the only reason I'm going a little bit away from Chuba. Um, the matchup, like you said, the Cowboys are okay. They do have a good defense with Micah back. They had one of their safeties back. I can't remember his name, but he's been back and he's been playing well in the Cowboys defense. But ultimately, I think the Panthers are just playing a little bit more through Bryce, and they're not leaning on Chuba as much as they were early in the season. So for me, that's the reason I want to see him sit this week. If he performs well, I might consider putting him back in to start the week after. But it's the first week of playoffs. I want people that have been here before. I want people that have proven it for a long amount of time. And to me, this is the first year that Chuba's kind of taken over and all year long been a really, really good running back. I want to see him do it a little bit longer before we start him in the playoffs.
Definitely hit him stride. I'm glad that he's having a breakout season. And this is just more testimony to the last take coming up here. But as far as the wide receivers, we got Jerry Judy, him and famous Jameis are really, really doing their thing. Now they got the Chiefs this week, pretty stout defense, but I mean, they all they have is Jerry Judy, really, and Chubb, and what's his name? The other guy, not Njoku,
Njoku, David Njoku, yep.
not Njoku, Elijah Moore.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, like they got a pretty nice wide receiver core over there, and Jameis Winston is not afraid to pull the trigger. So I think
He's a
Jerry Judy.
gunslinger.
He's been averaging 12 fantasy points these past few weeks. I don't see any reason why that's going to stop. And if they miraculously fall behind, they're just going to continue to throw the ball to Jerry all day. So I like that. Brian Thomas Jr. Unfortunately, he's on over there on the Asguars, but it looks like you got him in the starting lineup. Is the B word back? Is B word Lawrence back?
No, the B word is not back yet. But for me, Brian Thomas Jr. he's an underrated receiver. Even for myself, he's kind of been under the radar, and I feel like every week I watch him, he's making a play. So for me, Brian Thomas Jr. has been proving it.
Yeah,
and he's the one rookie one young rookie that I would give a chance, even in the playoffs, because he's been proving it every week. And it's something about the Jets that they're just off. Their run defense is a little bit better than their pass defense. And Brian Thomas is one of those players that I think he performs well against other players. Again, just from watching him this season, I've been very impressed with him. He gets touchdowns a lot. I think he can do something in the playoffs. So I'm looking for Brian Thomas to have a really good game. I like your pick too. Let me see some of the running backs right now. But you had Jerry Judy. Yeah, I like Jameis Winston, man. Jameis Winston is a gunslinger. I mean, he wants to pass. I think I said it about a lot of these offensive coordinators nowadays. They like to run. I mean, they like to pass and then run. That's Jameis. Jameis is going to throw that ball. Jameis is going to throw 40 times a game. Like,
at least.
Yeah, you got to tell Jameis not to throw 40 times a game if you want him not to. And the Browns' running game is not performing well enough for them to do that. So they're going to be throwing the ball. Jerry Judy's going to get most of the targets. So I really like that pick up.
Yeah. And even if the Jaguars aren't performing well, he's going to get his garbage points. So I like the
Mac Jones has been serviceable. Like Trevor Lawrence is a B word, so is Mac Jones. So
yeah, I like that pick too from a garbage point standpoint. But as far as the Sid'em goes, we both agree on this player, and that's Tank Dell. I mean, Collins is back. Mixon it seems to be doing well. I mean, that's pretty much the only two players they go to anyway. Tank Dell, unfortunately, is just the odd man out. I mean, he might get a couple of catches, but I don't really expect him to do much. They got the Dolphins. They're home against the Dolphins. I mean, they might put Ramsey on Collins, so he may get some attempts, but CJ Stroud is having that rookie. I mean, that second year
sophomore slump.
Yeah, that sophomore slump. So I don't know, man. Tank Dell really just hasn't been performing up to expectations, because I had a lot of expectations for him going into this season, but we both agree with sitting him. For the tight end, yeah, we got a difference of opinion. Pat Freiermuth, okay, and Jonnu Smith. Now Pickens is out, so there's really only one target that Russell can throw to. So that's why I'm starting Freiermuth. Jonnu Smith has kind of taken over as that second option for Tua this year. Waddle is kind of taking that third place seat. So I like Jonnu Smith. I mean, the best friend of a quarterback is a tight end, and looks like they're developing a chemistry. So I definitely agree with that pick as well.
Yeah, you make a good point about Pickens being out, Cole. I'm gonna have to add Freiermuth to one of my parlays, because that's a really good point. The targets have to go somewhere. Like, even if they're not gonna throw a lot, they still gotta go somewhere. Freiermuth gets open a lot, so I like that pick. And then, I picked Jonnu Smith. I think there's so many weapons on the Dolphins team that, like you said, the tight end is the quarterback's best friend. Mm-hmm. Jonnu Smith didn't start the game last week. I think he actually had 0 catches going into overtime, and then caught like 2 or 3 catches and a touchdown. And sometimes you get in these close games. Again, Malik Neighbor said it, but the game wasn't close enough. And the coach comes to you at the end of the game like, what play do you like? It's too late, coach. Well, in this case, it wasn't too late. And I think this is going to transfer over to the next game. So I think Jonnu Smith's going to have a really good game. And again, it's just not a lot of good tight ends this year. Let's just be honest.
They're not having good years.
Any other, I mean, again, Jonnu Smith ain't making my team. I have Brock Bowers and George Kittle. How crazy is that? Brock Bowers and George Kittle, the 2 leading receivers for fantasy. But Jonnu Smith, if you got to start somebody, if you got to start a tight end, you got to start somebody. I would start Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, both in agreement on that. And then with the sit-em, we're also in agreement. We're both sitting Kyle Pitts. You know, I'm not blaming Kirk on this because Kyle Pitts hasn't been doing shit since he's gotten into the league. And I don't know if it's his fault or if it's
might be a B word.
Wrong team. I don't know. But he's just not living up to any expectations. And he's kind of like a hybrid tight end. He's got the body of a wide receiver. So I don't know, but he may not have like the footwork or the route running as a wide receiver. So they put him at the tight end position, but he's not a tight end.
He's not a blocking tight end.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. I think he would like flourish on like a hybrid team, like the Rams or maybe the 49ers, something like that. But he's I don't know. He's just the odd man out over there. He hasn't done nothing all season. So unfortunately, Mr. Pitts, we got to sit you, man. But that's our stardom sit-em there, Brodies. Again, you need to be following us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for all your fantasy and parlay needs here. I think so far our stardom sit-em list is also performing at a high level. I can't think of too many players that we've chosen on our stardom sit-em list that didn't live out to those expectations. So y'all need to take heed of these picks that we're giving y'all. But transitioning into that, we got our fantasy talk. Now, we got a couple of things to discuss. First thing is the scoring leaders. Last week we had some really, really great games. Josh Allen, if Saquon Barkley doesn't hit 2,000 yards, I think it's safe to say that Josh Allen has locked up the league MVP for 2024. He had 72.30 points, 22 passing completions, 342 yards, 3 TDs passing, 82 yards rushing, and 3 rushing TDs. That's just freaking insane that they still lost the game despite those numbers. But Sam Darnold, he is, again, my candidate for comeback player of the year. He put up 59.05 points, 347 yards passing, 5 TDs. Joe Cool, he's more concerned about his frosted tipped hair, in them whack-ass outfits and buying a Batmobile for $3 million. He also got, his house also got robbed, from what I heard. But despite all that, it's making him play at a high level. He put up 50.75 points. This boy had 369 yards passing, 3 TDs. He did have a pick, but yeah, I mean he's playing lights out right now. For the running backs, Zach Charbonnet, way does it step up and just help with Walker being out. 34.80 points. The guy had 134 yards rushing, 2 rushing TDs, and 7 receptions for 59 yards. Isaac Guerrero, running back by committee out there in San Fran, 25.80 points with 78 yards rushing, 2 TDs, and 50 yards receiving. Josh Jacobs, who is the bell cow out there in Green Bay, 24.60 points. He has 66 rushing yards and 3 TDs. That's freaking insane.
Let me jump in here on the running backs real quick.
Yeah.
Isaac Guerrero was apparently ruining fantasy leagues because most people know, like you said, San Francisco was a running back by committee. So, the waiver wire in fantasy is a big deal. Like, our league, you can pick up at any time. Luckily, like we don't have you like wait till Tuesday, but a lot of people have to wait till Tuesday. Apparently, I don't know if you're in any fantasy leagues that do this, code. Some people have to put money up to pick up players.
Yeah, I've heard of those leagues. You have to put I don't know if it's your actual dollars or maybe like you buy in initially and they give you like
Right.
some
I think it's a
small money
buy-in.
or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, but you have to spend the pick. I don't like that shit. But yeah, there
Yeah.
are some leagues where you have to put up money to get people off the waiver wire. That's insane. That is
Yeah, so
insane.
like that was a big one. So I guess in one league somebody put up $100 to get Isaac Garendo, and they were like a loser. So it's like if Tosin was like picked up Isaac Garendo, it's like, you're not even in the playoffs, bro. Let somebody
Right.
else get that player, man. And you got him. Hopefully he comes back for the playoffs because I do think he's
Yeah.
good. Good. You picked him up this week, so shout out to you, Co. Um, but yeah, no, I just wanted to say that about the running backs because that Isaac Garendo one was kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, it's all going to build up to the last take, Brodies. So I hope you guys have been decoding what we've been saying. But the wide receivers, we got Jamar Chase. He put up 38.10 points. This guy had 14
Beast.
rushing yards, 14 receptions, 177 yards with 2 receiving TDs. That's insane. I mean, he's definitely priming himself to be the highest paid wide receiver next year. I wouldn't be shocked if this dude get like 30, 40 million a year. Um, Puka Nakua, love this guy, super humble dude. 16 rushing yards, 1 rushing TD, 12 receptions, 162 yards, and 1 receiving TD. Crazy work. Jordan
Crazy.
Addison, I like Jordan Addison, man. Eight
He's good.
receptions, 133 yards receiving, and 3 TDs. Um,
Mhm.
George Kittle, he had 18.10 points. Um, he had 6 receptions for a buck 51. Not too bad there. David Njoku, 13.70. He had 7 receptions, 42 receiving yards in the TD. And rounded off with Juwan Johnson with 13 points. He had 4 receptions, 50 yards in a receiving TD. But let me just mention one thing about Jamar Chase and also Justin Jefferson. These two
Mm.
individuals are the two best receivers in the league. And at this pace, they will be the first combo to play together in college to both finish top 1 and 2 in the league. That's some bronze stats for you. They'll be
Wow,
the
that's
they'll be
pretty
the
cool.
first college duo to finish 1 and 2 in the NFL, respectively. I don't know who keeps these stats up, but
No, that's
that's
pretty cool.
yeah.
I was gonna
But
say they come from LSU. LSU is like DBU, and they're becoming wide receiver U.
yeah, they're
Uh,
becoming wide receiver central. I mean, them and I think you maybe still include Bama in that
you
conversation
got to
as
still
well.
include Bama. They got
Yeah,
some good players in the league.
yeah. But if you want a wide receiver, and this is something that we'll cover in the off season, Brody, when we're doing the combine and the drafts. But if you want your wide receiver, go to LSU, go to Bama. If you want a quarterback outside of CJ Stroud, stay away from Ohio State. But that's just a whole other story there. But Brody's, we got to 50 plus thousand views because of one particular post. We put out on our TikTok platform, we asked the public who they thought the best wide receiver was because Justin Jefferson became the fastest wide receiver to hit a certain plateau within his first few years of playing in the NFL. So we posted who we thought, who do you think? We asked the Brodies out there, what did you guys think? Who do you think the best wide receiver was? And we got over 26,000 views on that, over 760 likes, and over 50 comments. People lobbying for Jamar Chase, and I'm sorry for Justin Jefferson as the best wide receiver. I think a bulk of those people viewing were probably from Minnesota because I tagged a lot of I did a lot of Minnesota hashtags, but I don't know, man. I mean, the best wide receiver in fantasy right now, I'm taking Jamar Chase. But best wide receiver, you can still make that argument for Double J. But right now in fantasy, it's Jamar Chase, and it's not even close.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Fantasy and reality are not the same thing. Yeah.
Oh no! Right on cue, right on cue. Wiggs has some technical difficulties. Hey, look, the sponsor out there that needs to cut the check. Once you do so, we'll have better Wi-Fi here. But that's the fantasy talk, basically. We got a lot of scoring uh, surges here with these quarterbacks. I think the passing game is starting to finally click now that most of these offenses are starting to revert back to being a run heavy team and allowing the pass to be opened up via play action, bootleg, RPO, things like that. And fantasy wise, like I mentioned, I think Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver in football right now, fantasy wise, because he just keeps continuing to play lights out. But that's because his quarterback is playing lights out. But from a fantasy standpoint, Wiggs and I are going to be talking about our fantasy league because our playoffs have started. And there's a couple of things that we want to share with y'all. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to wait for Wiggs to get things squared away, and we'll be right back to wrap up the show with the Brody Sports Talk.